Welcome to the Little Music Podcast, a podcast made by independent artists who kind of know what they're doing for independent artists who kind of don't know what they're doing. I'm your host, Adam from Keep It Inside. I've been doing this about 8 years, songwriting and music production, vocal work, primarily in the chill R&B space with tidbits of pop.
And I'm Kevin from Castro. I've been doing music for around 7 years now. I primarily started as an instrumentalist, but have been venturing out now into vocal music, rock music, kind of like a full band setup, even though I started off in instrumental hip hop. And it's been a fun journey.
So if you're an artist that's starting out or someone who's trying to figure out their next steps, we're going to be talking about topics that are relevant to us and our growth as musicians.
And what we hope to achieve with this podcast is that we provide a space for comfort, solidarity, motivation, and just to provide, really genuine advice for artists that are the semi-beginners to intermediate who are really just trying to find what is that kind of next step that really fully realizes like what I'm trying to achieve and what your goals are.
I also want this podcast to be useful for us as it is for you.
So how did we get the name Little Music Podcast?
I think when we were speaking about this before, hurt and pain, I think.
Yeah, it's like
kind of reduced it the best.
You have like a word bubble or like a word cloud, like for a mood board, and it's just trauma, pain, hurt.
Yeah, when we were like coming up with the different podcast ideas, because we talk to each other a lot, so we figured we have a lot of experience behind us. What is the one thing, that we feel like we could talk about? And what we kept coming back to is, a lot of people just look down on musicians and artists who
creatives in general
are starting out, and trying to take music seriously as a business, as a way to generate income for themselves.
And not only just starting out, even if you're like 4 or 5 years into this, you don't get any respect.
Yeah, I know. Like they typically come from people who aren't in the music industry, so to speak. It's like from coworkers, from parents. The quintessential thing that you come up with.
I mean, it's the holidays. It's Christmas. It's Thanksgiving. You've been stuck in your room all day, but it's dinner time, so you have to talk to all your relatives, and you have to talk to them, and then they ask you the inevitable question:
"How's your little music thing going?"
Look at this little artist here. It's like, ooh, and it's always said, they're talking down to you in a way because they don't know, it's like, but the analogy I always like to give is like, think about someone who's like in medical school and it's like, that's, how many years of schooling?
Like 10 years.
Yeah. And
I think,
and it's like, you're probably someone who's in medical school, you know what? No shame to them, but they may be worse off than someone who's like a regular artist because they are in a lot of debt.
A lot of debt. Incurring debt from undergrad, grad, and whatever the stuff they have to spend money on. I don't.
God bless them for trying, but but it's like with that, if you were to say that, I'm studying to be a doctor, and it's like I've been in this for like 8 to 10 years, everyone already has this like, whoa, like you're gonna be somebody, you have my respect. It's like you're really doing something. But you look at someone who's a creative who's been probably putting in the same amount of work
and also
for that amount of time,
success from it.
Exactly. It's like it's not just like you're truly starving, but it's like if you really care about this and you've been like putting in the time, like you really start to see the fruits of your own labor, and somehow it still falls short to your relatives.
That's why we got to reclaim it.
We're reclaiming the power there.
That's the purpose of this podcast. We're reclaiming the little music phrase as something.
It's a point of pride.
Point of pride. So we can look at our accomplishments and acknowledge them.
My little music thing is going amazing. It's going well.
So if you're interested in listening to us and the topics that we talk about, we're going to be releasing episodes bi-weekly. Mm-hmm. That's every 2 weeks.
I think that makes sense.
And you can find us on anywhere that you can listen to a podcast, Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube. And you can support us on Patreon. So patreon.com/littlemusicpodcast, because we're basically funding this ourselves. And
any support from the listeners
Yeah.
would be great. We'd be grateful for it. And also, with the Patreon, there's going to be a lot of bonus content. We don't want it's not just going to be financial support to keep the show running, but there's a lot of bonus stuff that
we
would
want to
love
make it
share.
worth it for
Yeah.
you to spend a little bit of your extra income on us. For updates on the show, you can find us on all of our socials at Little Music Podcast or at Little Music Pod on Twitter. For me, you can find me on at Keep It Inside too, because I'll be posting on there as well.
And you can find me at It's Castro, EYYITSKASTRO. That's my handle for Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and that's where you can reach me.
Little Music Podcast.
Thanks.
Hey everyone, this is Adam from the future. Thanks for tuning in. If you want to listen to the first episode, it's already available on our Patreon at patreon.com/littlemusicpodcast. With your contribution, you'll be able to listen to these 2 weeks earlier as we roll them out.